When a man is truly interested in you but hasn't yet found the right moment, or the courage, to confess his feelings, his actions often speak louder than any words he could say. You might not notice it at first, because these signs are usually subtle, woven naturally into everyday interactions. But if you pay close attention, you'll start to see a pattern, a collection of quiet gestures, lingering moments, and thoughtful actions that reveal far more than he lets on. It might be in the way his eyes hold yours just a heartbeat longer than usual, as if he's trying to read every thought behind them. Or in how he remembers the smallest details you've shared, even ones you barely remember telling him, using them later to make you feel seen and understood. It could be in the way he always seems to be nearby, whether it's by coincidence or careful choice, finding excuses to share a moment, a laugh, or even just a comfortable silence with you. You may notice his words, too. Not the big, dramatic declarations, but the quiet, consistent compliments that feel sincere because they are rooted in who you are, not just how you look. And sometimes, his actions mirror yours in ways he doesn't even realize, aligning his body language with yours, picking up on your mood, and subtly adapting to make you feel at ease. His curiosity might also give him away. He'll ask about your life, your past, your dreams, and your fears, not because he's nosy, but because he genuinely wants to know what shapes you. And when you're close, you might catch the slight edge of nervousness in his voice, the fidget in his hands, or the way he adjusts himself, as though your presence shifts something in him he can't fully control. This care shows up in practical ways, too. He'll check in on you more than most, offering help before you even think to ask, making sure you feel supported without turning it into a grand gesture. Around you, he'll tease lightly, pulling you into an easy rhythm that feels natural and personal, building a world of small inside jokes that no one else shares. He'll notice when something about you changes, a haircut, a new style, or even the way you carry yourself, and acknowledge it in a way that lets you know he's paying attention. Perhaps one of the clearest signs comes when he makes space for you in his world, introducing you to the people who matter to him. He'll quietly look out for you, protecting you in ways you may not even register at first. And when it's time to part, he won't rush. He'll linger, searching for one more reason to stay, because the thought of leaving your presence feels just a little too soon. Individually, these moments might seem small, almost ordinary, but together, they form a picture of a man who is quietly, steadily, and maybe even a little shyly, falling for you, waiting for the perfect moment when his heart can finally speak for itself. 1. He maintains long, lingering eye contact. When a man maintains long, lingering eye contact, it often speaks louder than any words he could say. It's not the kind of glance that's casual or fleeting. It's intentional, almost as if he's silently trying to bridge the distance between you. In those moments, you can feel his attention fully on you, like the rest of the world has faded away. This isn't accidental. It's a quiet choice he makes, letting his eyes linger just a second or two longer than normal, enough for you to notice, enough for it to spark something in your chest. Eye contact has a powerful psychological effect. It builds connection, trust, and an unspoken intimacy. When someone looks directly into your eyes, it can feel vulnerable, almost exposing, because it's a rare kind of honesty. He may not be ready to voice his feelings yet, but his gaze is a safe way of telling you there's something more beneath the surface. This kind of eye contact often carries an emotional weight. You might notice it when you're speaking, and he holds your gaze as though every word you say matters. Or maybe it happens when the conversation goes quiet. No need for filler words, just the stillness of two people silently acknowledging something unspoken. Sometimes, he might even look away briefly, not because he's disinterested, but because holding your gaze for too long feels too revealing, as though you might see exactly how he feels. When he looks back, there's often a softness in his eyes, a hint of admiration he's trying not to make too obvious. In group settings, lingering eye contact becomes even more telling. If you catch his eyes from across the room and he doesn't look away immediately, it's his way of keeping that thread of connection alive, even without words. It's subtle, but powerful, a form of silent communication that says, I see you, and I'm thinking about you. It's these moments, repeated over time, that can signal his feelings more clearly than grand gestures. A man who lets his gaze linger is often waiting for the right moment to put those feelings into words. Until then, his eyes are already speaking for him, telling you what he's not yet ready to say aloud. 2. He remembers small details about you. When a man remembers small details about you, it's one of the clearest signs that he's paying close attention, not just to what you say, but to who you are. These details might seem insignificant to others, yet he tucks them away as if they matter deeply. Maybe you once mentioned your favorite coffee order in passing, and weeks later he shows up with it without you having to remind him. Or perhaps you told a quick childhood story, and months later, he recalls the exact pet's name or the place you described. These aren't just random memories. They are pieces of you he's carefully collecting, like threads weaving into a deeper connection. Remembering small details is more than just having a good memory. It's intentional. It shows that your words don't just pass through his mind. They linger. He's listening not to respond, but to understand. You can feel it in the way he brings up something you mentioned only once, in the middle of an unrelated conversation, as if it's second nature for him to think about the things that matter to you. It's his way of saying, without directly saying it, I notice you. I care about you. You're important to me. This habit often shows up in unexpected moments. You might be walking past a bakery and he casually points out a pastry you once said you liked, or he remembers the exact date of something you'd be nervous about and checks in with you that day. These gestures don't demand recognition. They are not done for praise, but they carry a quiet intimacy. They let you know you occupy space in his thoughts even when you're not around. In a world where people are often distracted and forgetful, someone who remembers the little things about you stands apart. It's a form of emotional investment, a sign that you matter enough for him to store these pieces of your life in his mind. Over time, these moments of remembered details add up, painting a picture of someone who isn't just interested casually, but genuinely values you. His memory becomes a reflection of his feelings, subtle, steady, and full of quiet meaning. 3. He finds excuses to be around you. When a man finds excuses to be around you, it's often his way of staying connected without openly declaring his feelings. He might not always come right out and say, I want to spend time with you, but his actions reveal it. Maybe he suddenly needs help with something he could easily do himself, or he just happens to show up where you are, at the coffee shop, in the same aisle at the store, or walking into the same event by chance. These aren't coincidences. They are small, deliberate choices to be in your space. Sometimes it's as simple as lingering after a group meeting, offering to help you carry something, or joining in on an activity he knows you'll attend. He might volunteer for tasks that involve you or even adjust his schedule so your paths cross more often. These little maneuvers may seem casual on the surface, but they come from a place of wanting to be near you, to share moments, no matter how ordinary they seem. You might notice that he appears most when you're relaxed or when conversation can flow naturally. It's in those moments that he hopes to connect without pressure, without making the situation feel overly formal. Being around you gives him the chance to listen, to make you laugh, to notice the small details of your mood and personality. Even if he doesn't always speak much, his presence alone becomes a statement. He chooses to be here, with you, instead of somewhere else. This behavior is especially telling when it happens consistently. He may join you for errands, coincidentally take the same lunch break, or offer to walk you to your car. Each excuse he finds is another step toward building comfort and familiarity, creating opportunities to strengthen your bond. It's not about the task or the reason he gives, it's about the time. In the end, finding excuses to be around you is a quiet, persistent way of saying, I want you in my life. Even if he hasn't put those feelings into words yet, his repeated presence speaks volumes, turning ordinary moments into a pattern that's hard to miss. 4. He subtly compliments you often. When a man subtly compliments you often, it's his gentle way of expressing admiration without making it overly obvious. These compliments aren't always grand declarations or dramatic statements. They are woven into everyday moments, sometimes so naturally that you might almost miss them. He might mention how nice your smile looks when you're laughing, how a certain color suits you, or how thoughtful you are in the way you handle a situation. The words may be simple, but they are intentional, and they carry a personal touch that shows he's truly paying attention. Unlike bold, direct praise, subtle compliments tend to focus on small, specific details. He might notice the way you style your hair, the sound of your voice when you're excited, or the effort you put into something others might overlook. These comments often come at unexpected times, not just when you're dressed up or clearly seeking approval, but in quiet, ordinary moments, when you least expect it. That's when they feel the most genuine. Subtle compliments also allow him to express his feelings without putting too much pressure on the situation. It's a safe way for him to reveal his admiration while still leaving room for you to interpret it as friendly, playful, or potentially romantic. Over time, though, the consistency of these small remarks starts to paint a clearer picture. It becomes evident that he's not just being polite, he's drawn to you. You may notice that he compliments things that other people don't. It's not always about how you look, it's about how you think, how you move, how you treat people. This shows that he values more than just the surface. He's seeing the whole of who you are. When done often and sincerely, these subtle compliments create a quiet thread of connection. They make you feel noticed and appreciated in a way that doesn't demand a response, yet still leaves an impression. Even if he hasn't spoken his feelings outright, the steady stream of genuine, understated praise is his way of letting you know you matter to him, and he can't help but show it. 5. He mirrors your body language. When a man mirrors your body language, it's one of the most subconscious yet revealing signs of attraction and emotional connection. This isn't something people usually plan. It happens naturally when someone feels in sync with you. If you lean forward while talking, he might do the same. If you cross your legs, he might subtly shift into a similar position. Even the way you tilt your head, hold your cup, or rest your hand can be echoed in his movements without him even realizing it. Mirroring is rooted in psychology. It's a way for people to build rapport and create a sense of comfort between them. When he unconsciously matches your gestures, it shows he's tuned into your presence and wants to feel closer. It's like his body is silently saying, "We're on the same wavelength." You might notice this most during conversations, especially when you're sharing something personal. His posture, facial expressions, and even breathing pace may align with yours. This behavior often becomes more noticeable in group settings. In a room full of people, he might still align his stance or movement with yours, subtly maintaining a physical connection despite the distractions around. If you smile, he smiles almost instantly. If you lean back, he relaxes in the same way. These small reflections create a rhythm between you, making interactions feel more natural and intimate. Mirroring can also extend beyond posture. The tone of voice, pace of speaking, or choice of words may start to match yours. If you speak softly, he may lower his voice without thinking. If you gesture with your hands while telling a story, he may do the same when it's his turn. All of this signals that he's engaged and comfortable, that he's investing energy into matching your flow. Over time, this subtle dance becomes a quiet sign of emotional closeness. It's not just about imitation, it's about connection. Without a single word, his mirrored movements communicate that he feels aligned with you, that he's drawn into your world, and that on some level, he wants to stay there. 6. He asks personal questions about your life. When a man asks personal questions about your life, it's usually more than casual curiosity. It's a sign he genuinely wants to know you beyond the surface. These aren't just routine "how's your day" questions. They dig a little deeper, touching on your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. He might ask about your childhood memories, your dreams for the future, your favorite moments, or even how you felt during certain life events. This kind of interest shows he's not just passing time in conversation. He's investing in understanding who you truly are. You'll notice that these questions often come naturally, woven into your talks rather than feeling like an interview. Maybe you mention you've been busy, and he asks what's been keeping you occupied, genuinely listening to your answer. Or you tell a small story about your past, And he follows up with, "What was that like for you? Or did that change how you see things?" This willingness to go deeper shows his paying attention, not just to your words but to the emotions behind them. Asking personal questions also means is looking for connection points, things you both value, experiences you've shared in different ways, or insights that bring him closer to understanding your perspective. It's how he learns what makes you happy, what worries you, what excites you. Over time, these small discoveries become the foundation of a stronger emotional bond. You might notice he remembers your answers, too. If you told him once about your favorite childhood snack, he might bring it up weeks later, or if you mentioned a big goal you're working toward, he might check in on your progress. That's because his questions aren't asked out of politeness. They are part of how he builds a mental picture of your life, piece by piece. In a world where many conversations stay at surface level, someone who consistently asks personal questions stands out. It means he's not afraid to enter the deeper layers of who you are. Even if he hasn't spoken his feelings directly, the way he seeks to know you more intimately speaks volumes about the place you already hold in his mind. 7. He gets nervous when you're close. When a man gets nervous when you're close, it's often an unspoken sign that you affect him more than he's willing or ready to admit. Nervousness in this context doesn't mean he's uncomfortable in a bad way. It's more about being hyper-aware of your presence. You might notice him fidgeting with his hands, adjusting his clothes, or shifting his stance when you're near. His voice might change slightly, becoming softer or quicker, or he might stumble over words he'd normally say with ease. These small changes reveal that he cares about how he comes across to you. Sometimes, his nervousness shows in the way he avoids overly long eye contact, not because he doesn't want to look at you, but because holding your gaze feels too intense. Other times, it's the opposite. He'll lock eyes for a moment too long and then look away quickly, almost like he caught himself revealing too much. You might catch him taking a deeper breath before speaking or subtly rehearsing his words in his mind. This kind of reaction often happens because your presence triggers a mix of excitement and vulnerability. He wants to impress you, to say the right thing, to make the right impression, but that desire creates a slight tension in his movements and behavior. Even the most confident men can experience this when their feelings are involved. It's the body's natural way of responding to someone who matters. Nervousness can also appear in small, telling habits. He might laugh a little more than usual, even at small jokes, or overcompensate by trying to appear relaxed. His friends might tease him about how he acts around you, noticing the difference in his demeanor. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it's not a discomfort born of wanting to leave. It's the opposite. He stays, even with the nerves, because being near you matters more than avoiding that flutter of uncertainty. In the end, that nervous energy is a quiet giveaway. It means he's thinking about how you see him, that he's invested enough for your opinion to matter. And often, it's a sign that beneath his composed exterior, his feelings for you run much deeper than he's ready to say out loud. 8. He checks in on you frequently. When a man checks in on you frequently, it's a sign you occupy his thoughts even when you're not together. This isn't about routine politeness. It's about a genuine desire to know how you're doing, what's on your mind, and if you're okay. He might send a quick message asking if you got home safely, call to see how your day went, or drop by to say hello under the guise of something casual. The frequency and sincerity behind these moments show that he's not reaching out just to fill time. He's reaching out because you matter to him. These check-ins can be small, almost unnoticeable to someone else, but they carry meaning. Maybe he remembers that you had an important meeting and texts to ask how it went. Or perhaps he notices you sounded a little tired the day before and follows up to make sure you're resting enough. The key detail here is that his attention goes beyond surface-level conversation. He remembers and responds to the little things you share. Checking in also builds a steady rhythm of connection. It keeps the line of communication open without forcing anything heavy or overly romantic. It's his way of staying close without overstepping, letting you know you're in his thoughts without having to say the words directly. This consistency is especially telling. Anyone can send a one-time message, but someone who makes a habit of it is showing a deeper level of care. You might notice he times these moments well. 2. He doesn't just check in at convenient times for himself. He reaches out when he knows you might need encouragement or when he thinks you could use a smile. Even a quick just checking in or "how's your day going" becomes a quiet expression of affection. In a world where people often get caught up in their own routines, frequent check-ins stand out. They say, "I'm thinking of you," without needing the declaration. And when those messages or calls keep coming, day after day, week after week, it's often because he's waiting for the right moment to show you that this connection isn't casual for him. It's intentional. 9. He offers help without you asking. When a man offers help without you asking, it's a quiet but powerful way of showing that he's tuned in to your needs and wants to be a part of your life in a meaningful way. He doesn't wait for you to reach out or hint at a problem. He notices on his own and steps in. Maybe you're carrying something heavy and he appears at your side, or you mention in passing that you're busy, and the next day he's offering to take a small task off your hands. These gestures aren't about showing off. They're about making your life a little easier simply because he wants to. The key here is attentiveness. He's listening to your words, watching your expressions, and picking up on the subtle cues that others might miss. If you say you've had a long day, he might bring you a snack or suggest doing something relaxing together. If your car needs service, he might offer to drive you or recommend a trusted mechanic. His help is often practical, but behind it is an emotional message. "I care about you, and I want to be someone you can rely on." What makes this especially meaningful is that it's proactive. Many people are willing to help when asked, but stepping forward without being prompted takes extra thought and awareness. It shows he's paying attention, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. He's looking for ways to contribute to your happiness and comfort. These offers often come in moments when you least expect them, when you're not dressed to impress, when you're stressed, or when things feel ordinary. That's when his actions stand out most, because they are rooted in genuine concern rather than a need for recognition. And often, he'll brush it off as no big deal, even though it means something deeper. Over time, this pattern becomes clear. He's not just helping in the moment. He's building a quiet foundation of trust. Without saying the words, he's showing you that you matter to him, that he's paying attention, and that being there for you is something he values, perhaps even more than he's ready to admit. 10. He teases you playfully. When a man teases you playfully, it's often his way of creating a light-hearted, comfortable connection while testing the waters of deeper attraction. This teasing isn't meant to hurt or embarrass. It's gentle, fun, and usually comes with a smile or a glimmer in his eyes. He might make a witty comment about something you said, poke fun at a small habit you have, or jokingly challenge you about a preference or opinion. The tone is key here. It's warm, not sharp, and you can feel that there's affection woven into the words. Playful teasing creates a unique dynamic. It breaks down formality, allowing you both to relax and be more authentic around each other. When he engages with you this way, it's often a sign that he feels comfortable and wants to see you smile or laugh. Sometimes, it's his way of showing that he's paying attention to your quirks and mannerisms, even the ones you don't think anyone notices. You might find that he reserves this kind of teasing just for you. Around others, he might be more formal, but with you, there's a special rhythm, a back and forth that feels effortless. This creates an inside world where little jokes or nicknames become your shared language, something only the two of you truly understand. Playful teasing can also be a form of gentle flirtation. It gives him the chance to gauge your reactions, how you respond, whether you tease back, whether you seem to enjoy the interaction. It's a way of building closeness without jumping straight into overt expressions of interest. In a sense, it's a dance. He pushes just enough to spark your attention, then steps back to keep things light. Over time, this teasing often becomes a thread that weaves through your conversations, creating familiarity and comfort. Even if he hasn't said anything directly about his feelings, his willingness to engage in this kind of light, personal interaction shows that you matter to him. Behind the jokes, there's a simple truth. He enjoys your company enough to make every interaction a little brighter. And sometimes, those playful words carry a meaning he's not quite ready to say out loud. 11. He notices changes in your appearance. When a man notices changes in your appearance, it's a clear sign that he's paying attention to you in a way most people don't. These observations go beyond the obvious. He's not just commenting when you wear a completely different outfit, but catching the subtle shifts others might overlook. Maybe you've had a slight haircut, tried a new lipstick shade, or changed the way you style your clothes. Perhaps you've switched your glasses, started wearing a new perfume, or even just have a different glow in your skin from resting well. If he points these out, it means he's truly seeing you. Noticing these changes takes attentiveness. In a world where many interactions are rushed or distracted, his ability to pick up on the details shows that he's present in the moments you share. It means his focus is on you, not just on what you're saying, but on how you carry yourself, how you express yourself visually, and how you're evolving over time. These comments often come casually, woven into conversation. He might say, "You did something different with your hair. It looks great," or "That color really suits you." Sometimes, he won't even turn it into a compliment. He'll simply point it out, letting you know he noticed. But the fact that he sees it at all is the real message. He's observing you closely, and those details matter to him. What's even more telling is when he notices changes you didn't expect anyone to catch. Maybe you've switched to a lighter scent, chosen a different shade of nail polish, or adjusted your jewelry. If he comments, it's because he's been paying attention long enough to recognize your usual style and can spot when something's new. This kind of awareness often carries an unspoken layer of care. It means he's not just seeing you in passing. He's studying you in a way that comes from genuine interest. And whether he says it outright or not, each time he notices, he's quietly telling you, "You matter to me enough for me to see every detail." 12. He finds reasons to message or call you. When a man finds reasons to message or call you, it's a clear sign you're on his mind more often than he lets on. These aren't always urgent or necessary conversations. Sometimes, they're casual check-ins, funny memes, random thoughts, or accidental messages that conveniently spark a dialogue. He might text to ask about something small he could easily look up, send you a picture of something that reminded him of you, or call to share a quick story from his day. The point isn't the reason itself, it's that he's creating opportunities to connect. You'll notice these messages often come at different times of the day, not just when it's convenient. Maybe he reaches out during a busy work afternoon or late at night before going to bed. Even if the content seems simple, like asking for your opinion on a movie or telling you about something funny that happened, it's really a way of saying, "I was thinking about you, and I wanted to talk." Sometimes, these reasons are thinly veiled. He might pretend he needs advice, ask about an event you mentioned weeks ago, or bring up a topic you know he already knows the answer to. It's not that he's being deceptive. He's just giving himself an excuse to hear from you without making his interest too obvious. Calls tend to be even more telling than messages. Taking the time to pick up the phone shows he values hearing your voice, not just reading your words. It adds a personal layer to the interaction, making it feel more intentional and direct. Over time, these small, consistent conversations build familiarity and comfort. You may find that he's the one who starts most of them, rarely letting too much time pass without checking in. Even if he hasn't voiced his feelings yet, his actions create a steady thread of connection. And while the reason for his message or call may change from day to day, the underlying truth stays the same. He's looking for ways to keep you close, even if it's just through a screen or quick chat. 13. He introduces you to people in his circle. When a man introduces you to people in his circle, it's a meaningful step that goes beyond casual interest. It's a sign he's integrating you into his life. His circle might include close friends, family, or trusted colleagues. And bringing you into that space means he wants the people who matter to him to know you. This isn't something most men do lightly. It's a gesture that shows pride, trust, and a willingness to have you seen as someone significant in his world. You might notice he does this in different ways. Sometimes, it's planned, inviting you to a gathering or event where he knows his friends or family will be. Other times, it happens spontaneously, running into a friend while you're out together and making a point to introduce you warmly. In both cases, he's sending a message to them and to you. You're important enough to be part of his personal space. These introductions often come with subtle clues about his feelings. The way he speaks about you in front of others, highlighting your strengths, sharing little stories about you, or using affectionate tones can reveal how much he admires you. His not just letting them meet you, his framing you in a way that shows he values you. Introducing you to his circle also opens the door for connection beyond just the two of you. It allows you to see who he spends his time with, what environments is comfortable in, and how he behaves around those who know him best. It's his way of blending two parts of his life, making it clear that he's not keeping you in a separate, hidden space. Perhaps most telling is how often he tries to make this happen. If he repeatedly finds opportunities for you to meet new people in his life, it's a strong indicator that he's thinking about a future where you're part of his wider world. Even if he hasn't voiced his intentions outright, these introductions are his quiet way of saying, "You matter enough for the people I care about to know you, and for you to know them." 14. He protects you in subtle ways. When a man protects you in subtle ways, it's often an instinctive expression of care, one that doesn't need grand gestures to be meaningful. These moments can be so small you might almost overlook them, yet they reveal a lot about how he feels. He might step to the side of the curb when you're walking together, place his hand gently on your back when moving through a crowd, or slow his pace to match yours. These are quiet acts, but they carry the weight of genuine concern for your comfort and safety. You might notice it in the way he keeps an eye on your surroundings, making sure you're okay without drawing attention to it. If you're carrying something heavy, he'll take it without asking. If the weather turns, he might offer his jacket or hold an umbrella over you. Even something as simple as walking you to your car, making sure you get home safely, or checking that your drink hasn't been left unattended speaks to his protective nature. The key is that these actions are consistent and natural. He's not doing them for recognition or to impress you. They happen because he can't help but look out for you. It's a blend of attentiveness and quiet responsibility, where he anticipates needs before you even voice them. Sometimes, this subtle protection shows up in social situations. If someone speaks over you, he might steer the conversation back so you're heard. If he senses you're uncomfortable, he might subtly change the topic or guide you away from a situation. He doesn't make a scene. He just ensures you feel safe and supported. These small but intentional actions reveal an underlying truth. You matter to him enough for your well-being to be a priority. He may not openly declare his feelings yet, but his protective behavior is a language all its own. In his own quiet way, he's saying, "I want you safe, I want you comfortable, and I'm here to make sure of it." And often, those unspoken promises mean more than any words could. 15. He lingers before saying goodbye. When a man lingers before saying goodbye, it's a quiet but telling sign that he isn't ready for the moment with you to end. You might notice it in the way he slows down as you're parting ways, finding little reasons to stretch the goodbye just a bit longer. Maybe he brings up one last topic, even if it's small, or makes a light joke to keep the energy going. Sometimes, it's not about words at all. He might simply stand there, looking at you, smiling softly, as though he's memorizing the moment before he has to walk away. This hesitation often comes with subtle physical cues. He might shift his weight from one foot to the other, glance at the ground and then back at you, or take a deeper breath before speaking. If you're in conversation, he might circle back to something you already discussed, giving the interaction just a little more life. And if you're standing close, he might hold eye contact a beat longer than usual, his expression warm and reluctant. Lingered goodbyes can also show up in physical gestures. He might give an extra handshake, a lingering pat on the shoulder, or a hug that lasts a second longer than necessary. Even the way he positions himself, facing you fully instead of turning to leave, can be a sign that his heart isn't quite ready to let go of the moment. What makes this so telling is that it's often unconscious. He's not calculating the extra seconds. He's just responding to the pull he feels toward you. Time with you feels comfortable, enjoyable, maybe even a little addictive. And ending it feels like cutting off a good song before it's over. Over time, you might see a pattern. Every meeting, every casual hangout, every quick encounter stretches out in these last moments. He may not be saying it outright, but his reluctance to leave speaks volumes. In that pause before goodbye, he's silently telling you, "I'd rather stay a little longer." And that's often one of the clearest signs of where his heart truly lies.